Hi, and welcome back to Financial Alchemy. Around the end of the year and the beginning of the new year, people often have a large sum of money from collecting debts, taking profits from investments, receiving bonuses, 13th month salaries, or savings accumulated from a year of hard work. Although interest rates on deposits are currently very low, it's undeniable that saving money in a bank is still a safe investment channel for short-term and medium-term deposits. However, there have been many cases of people losing money unfairly when depositing savings at banks, crying their eyes out because they were too trusting, too gullible. They sent money to the bank, but it was converted into buying bonds, asset mortgages, or loans. They sent money to the bank, but it ended up as life insurance. So what should you do to ensure you protect your money when depositing savings at the bank? Here are 8 mistakes to avoid when depositing money at the bank. Let's watch this video and find out. 8 mistakes to avoid when depositing savings at the bank. Ladies and gentlemen, when choosing to deposit money at a bank, we want to protect our idle money and hope it generates profit. However, there have been quite a few cases of unfair money loss when depositing at banks. Whether you deposit a little or a lot of money, you need to avoid these 8 mistakes. Mistake number 1, not depositing savings at the counter. Usually, when people deposit savings, they follow the procedure of going to the bank, taking a number, waiting for their turn, and working with a teller at the counter. However, did you know that a small number of customers don't transact at the counter? They are often victims of fraudsters who exploit their trust to embezzle their assets. These groups of customers are usually VIPs, super VIPs, or people who aren't very familiar with banking procedures. For VIP or super VIP customers, they'll be invited to a private transaction office designed to welcome these special guests. Here, they'll be treated like royalty. All transactions are quick and private in a private room. The only thing these VIP customers need to do is sign the transaction contract and leave. Even the savings book or card will be sent to their home. However, this is precisely the loophole that leads to the mistake of losing money unfairly. Because they have very little time and are busy, they'll choose to deposit money first and receive the passbook later. This gullibility and carelessness have led to them being exploited, signing documents without reading and reviewing them carefully. Some greedy and dishonest bank employees will exploit the customer's trust to use various tricks and embezzle that money, aiming to deposit it into another account or use it for short-term loans. As a result, the customer will lose a significant amount of interest. The usual trick of these employees is to tell the customer that the system is down and the money will be deposited into the passbook in a few days. Because they're too busy, the customer doesn't pay attention and lets it go. After a few days, they'll receive the savings book. At this point, the deposit date has been delayed by a few days compared to when the customer came to deposit the money. Even worse, taking advantage of the customer's trust, these bank employees can even create fake contracts and fake payment slips to misappropriate the customer's money. If you deposit only a few tens of millions of VND, a few thousand USD, a few days won't amount to much interest. However, if you deposit several billion VND, hundreds of thousands of USD, or hundreds of billions VND, millions of USD, the interest will be substantial. Therefore, to avoid losing the interest you're entitled to, you should choose to deposit savings at the counter or when transacting in the VIP room. Wait for the transactions to be completed and receive the savings book before leaving. Mistake number 2, asking someone else to deposit for you. This is also a common case of losing money that I want to mention. You might think that asking someone else to deposit money only happens in rural areas or with older people. But this money loss happens to extremely intelligent and knowledgeable people, business owners, or wealthy entrepreneurs. Why is that? The simple reason is that this group of people is always busy and doesn't have time. For entrepreneurs, time is more valuable than money. Taking idle money to deposit in a savings account is too time-consuming. They'll delegate it to someone else. That could be a secretary, assistant, or a bank employee they trust. Some employees with greed will exploit that trust and find ways to misappropriate their assets. Or, for people in rural areas, when they have a large sum of money from harvesting crops or selling personal assets, the first thing they do is take it to the bank to deposit. However, because they don't understand and aren't familiar with banking procedures, they often ask a relative to deposit it for them. When many people ask others to deposit for them, it leads to errors such as incorrect personal information, incorrect deposit amount, incorrect term, and interest rate. There are even cases of losing money when asking someone else to deposit. By the time the money is lost, it's too late. Even if you file a lawsuit to get your money back, it's very time-consuming and laborious, and you might even end up with nothing. Therefore, remember, money is closely tied to your gut, so don't ask someone else to deposit it for you. Mistake number 3, not carefully storing and protecting the savings book. The savings book is a card that proves your ownership of the money deposited at the bank. Whether you can get your money if you lose or damage the savings book, card is always a concern. According to Article 16 of Circular 48, 2018, TT&HNN, credit institutions provide guidance on handling cases of damaged, torn, or lost savings cards and other risks related to savings deposits in accordance with relevant laws, the management model, business conditions of the credit institution, and ensuring the legitimate rights of depositors. So if you lose or damage your savings book, you'll contact the bank and have the situation resolved according to regulations. However, the procedures and processing time depend on verifying documents and other evidence to prove your ownership. Therefore, to avoid this situation, you need to keep your savings book card carefully. In addition, if you lose your passbook or card, you must immediately notify the bank within 24 hours. After notifying by phone, the customer must go directly to the bank to file a lost savings book report to prevent fraudsters from taking advantage of the situation and forging signatures to misappropriate your money. Mistake number 4, not carefully reviewing the information on the passbook before leaving the bank. Errors leading to the loss of savings deposits can easily occur when customers don't carefully check the information before leaving. Risks can arise when bank employees accidentally enter incorrect customer information. Besides that, you also need to check the information on the deposit contract before signing. If you don't check carefully or trust the employee's advice, you could easily lose money unfairly or be taken advantage of by fraudsters. Therefore, before leaving, you need to review your personal information, including asterisk bank name, asterisk currency type, asterisk amount of money, asterisk term of deposit, asterisk deposit date, asterisk maturity date, asterisk interest rate, asterisk interest payment method, asterisk full name and address of the owner or co-owners of the savings deposit, asterisk national ID number or passport number, asterisk card number, asterisk seal and signature of the unit head or authorized person, etc. Mistake number 5, pre-signing blank documents. In 2015, Mr. JT deposited €400,000 approximately $430,000 using a rough equivalent for illustrative purposes in a savings account at Agribank, Ho Chi Minh City branch. When it was time to withdraw the money, Mr. JT was shocked to discover that his savings had been used by a bank employee as collateral for a 10 billion Vietnamese dong's loan approximately $430,000. Although there are specific regulations from the State Bank of Vietnam, many bank officials deliberately violate these regulations, leading to cases of customers losing money when depositing savings. For various reasons, bank employees might ask customers to pre-sign blank documents to avoid multiple trips when signing withdrawal documents. But this is extremely dangerous. When you pre-sign, of course, you won't need to go to the bank to withdraw your savings when they mature. The money will automatically be transferred to your account, but in return, fraudsters will take advantage of the pre-signed signature and convert the contract, changing the savings contract into a mortgage loan contract, or switching to buying bonds or insurance. By the time everything comes to light, you'll have to file lawsuits, which are very time-consuming and laborious. And with your signature clearly on the document, you're not guaranteed to get your money back. Mistake number 6. Not regularly monitoring the principal and interest of your savings. Nowadays, monitoring the principal and interest of your savings is quite easy because it's integrated into the bank's mobile banking apps. But it's precisely because of this that customers often become complacent, thinking they can check it anytime. And this is precisely the mistake that leads to you losing money when depositing savings at banks. Monitoring your savings should be done regularly, weekly, or monthly. If there are any errors, you need to contact the nearest bank immediately to resolve them. If you wait too long, you might not be able to recover your original money. Mistake number 7. Frequently changing your signature. Most of us have a habit of signing complex signatures or frequently changing our signatures to make them look better. When you change your signature too often, you won't remember it. This is precisely what fraudsters will exploit to misappropriate your assets. Although we can't sign 100 signatures exactly the same, there will be basic features that are similar. Bank employees will rely on these features to identify your signature. Therefore, you should stick to one consistent signature to avoid forgetting. If an employee asks you to sign multiple times to avoid risks, don't be annoyed. Remember, your signature and pen strokes at the bank have value, proving your ownership of your assets. Mistake number 8. Carelessly depositing money online. Online savings deposits are considered an optimal method nowadays because they don't require waiting time and offer higher interest rates than over-the-counter deposits. However, when depositing money online, you need to be cautious. There's a lot of online fraud these days, so you need to be careful if you want to open an online savings account. Avoid strange websites or web browsers with poor security on your computer or phone. Also, when you want to open an online savings account, it's best to install antivirus software. Besides that, you also need to stay updated on bank notifications to prevent risks in online transactions. Ladies and gentlemen, savings deposits are considered a safe method to protect and help generate profits from idle money. However, due to carelessness and gullibility, many customers have lost this money entirely. Therefore, before depositing a large sum of money into the bank, pay attention and avoid the 8 mistakes above. Thank you for watching this video on the Financial Alchemy channel. See you in the next videos.